You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio. Parasearch Radio, broadcasting to the UK and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Good evening and welcome to the Paranormal Pop-Up Show. It's Saturday night. We were all a bit bored, so we thought we'd come online and do a pop-up show. So in the studio, I have obviously myself, I'm Kerry Greenaway. I have Mr. Paul Rook. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening.
And we have the lovely Kazrini. Good evening, Kaz.
Good evening.
So, guys, pop-up show.
We're the only ones that are not out tonight.
I think so. I think so. When you look through your socials, everybody seems to be out and about investigating, don't they?
I do.
Yeah.
Makes you a little bit jealous, does it not?
It does.
So who's out? Who do we know that's out and about tonight?
North Notts Ghost Hunts in York Museum.
Oh, York Museum.
There's a team in Hellfire Caves as well tonight.
Is there?
Yeah, I don't know what team it is though. One of my staff members have gone out.
Oh, have they? I've been to there.
I've never been. I want to.
The Hellfire Caves.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that place.
It's a strange location, in all honesty. It's amazing. I would recommend anybody to go there because it is quite a strange place. It has got a strange vibe to it, but then it kind of, the whole thing about it is a little weird, even down to the history of how it was built. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got like the inner chambers and the occult history that goes with it. But yeah, Hellfire Caves is an awesome place to go to. I just did it as a tourist, though. I didn't do it as an investigation.
Okay.
But
yeah,
no,
it's on my list of places to do.
It's not that far.
I know. Yeah, it's just sort of like the other side of London, isn't it, I think.
Well, we went there. Me, Andy, and Richard popped into there. We went to see Eddie Brazil. We spent an afternoon with Eddie Brazil, and lovely Sue. An afternoon with those two is a literal education. But we went up a bit earlier so we could go to the Hellfire Caves. And so I was with Andy and with Richard. And going with Andy, as you can imagine, with his occult knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd want to be there a week to get everything.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, God, it was absolutely fascinating. And like when you've got like somebody so knowledgeable, you could fire whatever question you want at them. And he that's what he's like. Funny enough, on Monday, we played out the Parasearch UK radio show, and we had Andy on, and it was basically, you got a question about the occult. He was happy to answer that question. That was fascinating. Did you guys catch it?
No.
I caught a little bit of it.
That's the one I'm not caught up on yet. I've been busy updating the website today.
You have been busy updating the website today, which is parasearchradio.com.
Yeah.
What we'll do is any ones that you need to catch up on, we'll post them all on your timeline. That's fine with me. Then you can't get out of it.
That's a really good idea, Kaz. I love that idea.
It's a Monday one I need to catch up on.
In fact, from now on, every show is going on Paul's timeline.
And tonight's going to be the last night I'm on Facebook.
As he sets up a brand new profile and doesn't tell us about it. Oh my goodness me. But Andy Mercer is like a font of knowledge in regards to, so many subjects. It's not just the occult, is it? It's like so many topics, that man. I don't know how he retains that information.
I don't. It's just amazing the amount of stuff he knows.
Some people are like that, though. They're like little sponges. They just soak up all this knowledge.
Yeah.
It just seems to be like that.
Yeah, when I was talking to Cal Cooper, he was like reeling off like names and studies and universities, and I was sitting there thinking, how the hell can you remember this? Because you don't know what I'm going to ask, so I could ask literally any question, and he just was like, yeah, well, I studied back in 1974 by Mr. Dr. blah-de-blah at this blah-de-blah university. And I'm sitting there going, how the hell do you remember this?
Maybe, but mind you, because we don't know the names, he maybe could just be making them up.
This is true.
You wouldn't know.
He could be.
Yeah.
He could be. But again, a font of knowledge, that man, Cal Cooper.
Indeed.
Thoroughly interesting person. I love Cal Cooper. Just going to say that.
In a few weeks' time.
I like Gerard Butler as well. I'm trying to manifest something here.
Saying about a font of knowledge, in a few weeks' time we're going to be interviewing Norman Fay again.
Oh, God, yeah, that man is amazing.
That's another font of knowledge. And we're going to be talking about Earth mysteries.
Well, he's been looking into, he's doing a lot of research at the moment in regards to sacred geometry and dowsing the links between those and churches. And I'm finding that study that he's doing absolutely fascinating. I'm slowly working my way through his website and reading all the information that he's got on his website. He is absolutely fascinating character.
Yeah.
But
he is. I could talk to him all day.
Yeah, I could too. But he's calling the paranormal field out quite a bit at the moment on his socials, isn't he?
He is a bit. And although I can understand what he's saying, because he's asking for evidence, basically good evidence of the paranormal, and no one's replying to him.
Because no one's got...
Exactly.
No one's got it, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And to be fair, you daren't at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you not agree, Kaz?
And I think because obviously it's a case of, just because I can't explain it doesn't mean to say someone else will. So, no one can really, I don't think, claim that they have definitive proof.
No, it's a perception, isn't it, of what you get on the day. I mean, I saw Tony Ferguson posted up. He's a bit controversial himself at the moment because Tony Ferguson is quite controversial. I'd love to talk to him, to be fair. But he put a post up saying he'd captured 2 ghosts in this thing. But somebody actually came back with a logical explanation for one of the images. And he did take it. In all honesty, he did say, it's, okay, I'll take that on the chin. That is what it is. I think it was a light flare. Giving it a bit of a matrixing appearance. And in all honesty, he took that on the chin and was like, fair enough. Thank you very much. I didn't realise
that's
that,
it.
and now I do.
I do think it's also a good idea to post pictures that can be discussed. When I went to Shepton Mallet, there was a board there that a few paranormal teams, I think one was Most Haunted Experience, another one was Spooktacular, and I can't remember what the other one was, but they had pictures that people had taken on that investigations, and there was one picture that was quite clearly a hair on the lens. But they still put it up, and okay, I can say that's quite. I mean, I've seen loads of hairs on lenses before, so it's quite easy and distinctive to pick up.
Yeah.
But it's still a great way of having discussions with people.
I think it definitely opens up those doors of discussion and
it does.
Increases your knowledge, doesn't it, Kaz?
Yeah, I mean, another thing, which I think we've touched on before, but when people do footage and they edit it, why do they edit it? Just put it up the way it is. I don't understand that. Why mess about editing your footage? Just
I
put
think,
it up the way it is and let people make a judgment on it.
yeah, no, I can
Would be
understand. I
better.
can understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but sometimes when you've got like 12 hours of footage and something happens right at the end, you know, you want to show that footage off. You don't want to show off the
I can
12 hours that
understand
have been.
that.
Do you know what I mean? So it's a double-edged sword, really. I think.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't think anyone can have definitive proof.
No.
No,
A lot of
because
it's
it is
personal
very.
experience.
Sorry.
A lot of it's personal experience as well.
Yeah, when
Exactly.
you have a personal experience.
You can't explain.
You can't explain it, and you can't
Can't
prove
prove
it.
that.
No, you can't. It is very difficult sometimes, but like with video, I agree. You shouldn't edit it. If you're going to put it out to peers to
Yeah.
review, you shouldn't edit it because it will show up in the metadata.
Yeah, I mean,
Straight away.
if you're gonna share it with other teams and say, look, you know, I've got this 12-hour bit of footage. I want you to take a look at it. The piece of film you're looking at is, I don't know, between 11 hours 25 minutes
Yeah.
and 27. And, you know, you could do, I think that's probably the best way of doing it. But when you're
Yeah.
putting it out to social media,
It's very difficult.
it's going to be ripped to shreds anyway. So I
Yeah.
would probably edit it
It's true.
just for that particular piece of evidence. But if I was going to share it with another, I'd keep it intact as well.
So it keeps its integrity as a piece, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
So
Yeah.
if I was going to share it with another scientist or, you know, whoever happens to be interested in it, then they can get the whole footage.
Yeah.
And I think that would be quite fair a
Yeah.
compromise.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. I really do agree with that. I mean, if you want someone to look at your footage, be prepared for criticism. Not criticism, subjective, objective comments.
Yes.
The trouble is, how often do you get subjective, objective comments? You don't. 9 times out of 10, if you put it on a social, you'll get somebody put, "What a piece of shit."
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. And that, quite frankly, is useless. What a piece of shouldn't have said that word, but you know what I mean. That solves no.
You
purpose
said
at all.
worse.
Yeah, it's true that last night I believe.
No, I totally get that, and you've got to be respectful to the investigator that actually put that on, because you don't know how much experience that they've had. They might have set up their team like a week ago,
Yeah.
and so same thing with that orbs.
Yes.
You know, the amount of times you see an orb picture, and okay, we have a joke on that and put like face palm and stuff like that, but you don't know how experienced that person is. They might have just set up last week, so they need a little bit more educating.
I completely agree with you. And when I first started in the field, I'll tell you this, and I will be dead honest about this. When I first started in the field, I thought orbs were a manifestation of spirit. When I first started in the field, I didn't know any better. I soon got educated.
Yeah, and I think
I
that's
soon got educated on that one, God.
but that is just it, though. You know, you've got to, you know, bite your tongue sometimes and just think, well, okay, this person obviously doesn't know what I know, so you share your experience. Don't shoot them down in flames, and put derogatory comments on, because that's not needed.
No,
The thing is with orbs as well, I mean, dust. A lot of people think dust is orbs and insects is orbs, and 99 times out of 100, I would say it's either dust or it's an insect, but there's that 1%, so I won't completely discount them. But if I can clearly see what it is and it isn't an orb, I would say it's not an orb. And then that causes a riot, doesn't it? Because they get upset.
Yeah, well, they do. Yeah, I mean, I do disagree with you on this, as you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
as
I
you
know.
know, I do disagree with you on this. But there have been many a night where Penny, Kaz, myself, Paul have been talking, and me and Paul are like, no, it's not. It's blah, blah, blah. And Kaz and Penny have been like, well, you know, there's that 1% or that 0.5%. You know, there's been many a heated discussion on this, and we'll always go back to the, well, go to ASAP, go to the SPR. That it's been looked at, it's been well
Yeah.
debunked over the years. But the girls will stick to their point of view, and we respect them for that point of view. You know what I mean? Of course we do. You know, I'm not an expert. I can only read what other people have researched, in all honesty. I've not got the technical know-how on how to look at cameras and videos and stuff like that. I'm really, trust me, you know me with tech, guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To go into lens flares
I think-
and distances and stuff like that. I have not got a clue. But I will listen to somebody else that's done that kind of work from a respected body and take that on board. But that doesn't mean they've covered every eventuality. It's just my perspective of where I've researched.
Yeah.
The best orb picture I've ever seen is it was taken in a derelict house, and the place was covered in these orbs, but
Really?
they tagged each
Dust.
one. They tagged each one. The mailman, the maid, the butler.
Seriously?
Yeah, they tagged every one of these orbs and gave it a name.
Oh, how much time must that have took them? Oh, bless them.
Do you know something?
That's
I mean-
hysterical.
Paul's attitude to orbs. Now, the classic blinking Paul. I always put up a good night post on my group, don't I? And I put up this picture this night, and I've got a habit of putting up pictures of the moon. But it was a guy standing in the middle of the street with his hands up like that, and it looked like his hands were touching the moon. So everybody's just saying good night, and Paul comes on and goes, "Oh, look at the size of that
No, that's a big dust blob.
Oh dear. Yeah, even had dust sheet out.
Oh my goodness. Well, Ashley is in the chat room with us at the moment, bless him. Peer review is essential to establishing anything in the field, especially if you wish to establish it as relevant. So I agree with that completely.
Yeah, indeed.
That's what I say to that. I totally agree with that. If you've got something that's interesting and you're not sure what it is, put it out to your peers. Put it out to people. You know, why not? If
that's it. I mean,
if that's the case, then do it.
I mean, I had that picture with that apparently someone took of their living room, and there was that spirit just in the edge of the doorway, and I showed it to you and Ashley, and Ashley concurred with me that it was a phone app.
Yeah.
You know, I my initial thought was the phone app, but I still had about 20% of doubt because it wasn't as clear as most phone apps I've seen.
I know that when they were at Sage last year, there was a photograph that was taken, and it had like a blue. It was abnormal to the normal image of an orb or something that you would see, yeah. And I can't remember who took the photo. I think it was Carl. And then what they did was they went out, and it was on an iPhone, and they were taking photographs, and they were being able to recreate that anomaly, shall we say?
Yeah.
And then they worked it out that it was actually something to do with the actual iPhone itself, and not an abnormality, like an anomaly itself. Yeah. But that had never been picked up before, and it was only because they went out and picked it up and then did the work, you know what I mean, and actually recognised that this was something within the actual phone itself. I mean, that leads us onto a whole new topic. There's a huge school of thought you shouldn't take your phones out and use your phones on an investigation, but how many of us use them for photographs these days? We don't very often have a separate camera now. Yeah. Very few people have a separate camera now. And if they do, it's a digital camera. Then you've got a lot of people I'm seeing are using their voice recorder app on their phone rather than a handheld voice recorder. Yeah. Then you've got a lot of the apps that are being developed, which again is a whole controversial issue. regarding phone apps, like the Legion box and stuff like that. But I'm
Yeah.
not saying they're irrelevant at all. I think there's a whole load of work that needs to be done on that in itself. But there are people that are swearing by them and getting great results from them. And there are some people that say you should never ever take your phone out. You should switch it off and leave it in the car, and not take it with you because it interferes with other equipment on the night. So phones is just a whole new subject, isn't it? It's a whole
new can of worms.
Yeah, it's a whole can of worms on an investigation. But we rely so much on our phones these days for so many different things.
See, I always use a separate voice recorder.
I do.
I don't have apps on my phone.
No.
Because I wouldn't use them. But I do know people who do use them and swear by them.
Yeah. I mean, I know Sean, when he was out, he was talking to Michael Postlethwaite, wasn't he, on Wednesday?
Yeah.
They were talking about this, and they had some really, really interesting results through one of the apps that Brian Holloway has developed, and actually was like singing the praises and actually saying how amazing this phone app was because of the results they'd got from that. And I have to say, one of the phone apps that he'd sent me, I tried out indoors, and while I was just trying it out, there were some interesting things coming through. When I was first trying it out, and I was thinking, am I using it right? For one, is because that's always that's always a query with me. Quite frankly, did I press the right button? But it was very, very interesting.
Yeah, see, I don't go for phone apps at all. I don't rate them. I try to refuse to let them into my investigations. But occasionally, in a group, sometimes someone might go, I've got a phone app, let's try that. I've got no objections to them trying them. Yeah. But I've got the proper equipment for the proper job.
Yeah.
So I'd rather stick with that than phone apps. I think even Mark Manley, he had a phone app of the Simon Says game.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
With the different colours.
Didn't we use that at Western Zoyland? What was it called? Western
Zoyland.
Zoyland. Yeah, that's right.
I don't know, but I remember using it at the Margate Theatre Royal in Margate, and he left it on the stage, and he was like, if there's any spirit here, can you come forward and just touch one of these colours for us? And some of the colours went off, but I'm not so sure whether it was the app doing it or whether or not it was actually picking something up. It's something that needs looking at.
I just think it's a very interesting area of research. I mean, I spoke to... didn't we do a show on this once upon a time back in the day? And I actually spoke to Kerr about this. And he said the problem is your phone has so much data, even if you turn off like your...
the airplane mode.
Yeah, you put it onto airplane mode. Your phone still has stored so much data, you can't ever discount the fact that it's taking it from there. He said it's he said it needs a lot more research done into it. He said, but at the moment, he said the way I would look at it is it's too. There are too many variables to say it's definitely interaction. So he would actually discount all apps, but out in the field, people are getting very interesting results with them. But I remember when what was it called? Is it the Ovilus? The Ovilus?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was...
I remember going out with somebody who had just bought theirs, and we was on an investigation, and there was a particular part of this, whereas if you point it at something, it's supposed to come up with like a face. I would say it was probably similar to what you would expect with the SLRs, but it was supposed to show you a matrix in where there was supposed to be a spirit. And I was pointing at a blank wall, right? And this is pure pareidolia at work. I've got it at a blank wall. There's about 2 foot between me and this blank wall. And I'm going, oh, look, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. And there was like image after image. And this is the problem with those kind of things. It is very subjective, and you have to know your tech. You have to know all the different, not just one bit of the tech. You have to know every single part of that piece of tech. I mean, I know the basic functions on my phone, the bits I use, basically.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah? So I know Messenger, I know how to access my socials, I know how to phone, I know how to message, and that's pretty much it. Do you know what I mean? Maybe a few other extra bits and bobs in there, but, you know.
Yeah.
Apart from that, that's it. You know what I mean? I know other people use their phones in a lot more depth than I do, and I know iPhones have got a lot more capabilities than my little Android that I've got. But
no, Android's a proper phone.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I got an Android as well.
But I think
I like
do
my
that.
iPhone.
I don't do iProducts.
I love my iPhone.
Yes, that's a whole new. Well, that's a whole different radio station kind of show, isn't it? That's like a tech radio show. But listening to Michael Postlethwaite the other night, fascinating. Listen, you know, somebody who knows tech, works with tech, says he's as sensitive as a stick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how he works in the field. Incredibly fascinating listening to him talk.
Yeah, that's true.
See, my argument, especially for that Simon Says thing that Mark's got, if a spirit can do that, then why don't you just put the phone on text message and let the spirit type the message that he wants to?
Yeah, I know.
It's not going to happen. You can even download the Ouija board, and
I know. I had great fun with that one night. I had so much fun with the online. I found this app, which was a Ouija board, and basically you asked a question, clicked the button, and you moved your mouse or finger onto the planchette, and it took you to the answer. Oh, it's hysterical. Oh my God. I was marrying about 14 people by the end of the night, I tell you. We had so much fun. We were literally crying with laughter with that one. But great fun if you want to have a good laugh. Now, I'd like to bring something in at this moment in time, because Ashley has just said ITC and apps is a developing area, which we all agree with, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a completely developing area. And moving so fast as well. I think that's half the problem, is tech is moving so fast that the day-to-day person has trouble keeping up with it. I know I do. When my computer updates, I'm like, what have you done with all my normal stuff? You know what I mean? And that's on a basic level, you know. So when you have your tech, that it just moves so fast, tech. So anyway, however, if you think about the device conducting random actions, then it's very similar to random number generators. Now, I know this is an area that Ashley is looking into, and I know parapsychologists are looking into this quite in depth at the moment, because random number generators are actually proving to be very interesting in regards to, what's the word? I want to kind of say, showing an event happening before the event happens. Yeah, almost like that. 9/11, on the random number generators, there were anomalies being noted pre-event.
Yeah, but let's face it, The Simpsons predicted it as well. Do you know? That's some rocket science.
I know. You can't believe you tagged me in that post. I was like, oh my God. Everyone was like, yeah, do that show. I'm like, oh my God. Guess what I don't watch, everybody? Guess what topic I have no idea about?
That'd be The Simpsons then. I've actually got a book on the philosophy of The Simpsons.
The philosophy of The Simpsons.
There's
The
a
philosophy.
lot of philosophy stuff in The Simpsons, apparently. Yeah, I've not read the book. It wedges up the table, but...
Jesus Christ. So, anyway, going back to the random number generators. We investigators could be affecting the devices ourselves as we can with random number generators, because there's been work done as well as to see whether a person can affect random number generators. Fascinating area of discussion. So when people say that we're not, the field isn't moving, that we're very stagnant, yeah, it feels like that when we go out investigating with the same old tech every single week. But there is so much work that's being done behind the scenes as well. And that's what I love about Parasearch, is we have that ability to bring all sides of the paranormal together. Like, we can bring Norman on, and he talks about his dowsing and his work that he's doing into sacred geometry in the field, and then we can bring someone like not a parapsychologist, sorry, a psychologist like Cal Cooper, who's working with flotation tanks and looking at that. They've basically left the Gansfield experiment way behind and have gone to a whole new level with it, into flotation tanks and stuff like that, and listen to him talk. And then we can get North Knots going out and doing their events and having great fun with their tech. And we can talk to, like someone like Michael Postlethwaite about how he works with tech in the field. I love that about Parasearch, is that we bring so much different stuff onto the shows. I mean, we've got, the amount of people that we get on, and such a variety of topics.
Yeah.
Isn't
That's
there, Kaz?
true. Yeah. But I mean
who was you talking to this week, Kaz?
Mark Munsey, who owns Hillview Cemetery. He is really interested. The thing about that is, when you think of Florida, you think of beaches and Disney World, and it's all nice and sunshiny and whatever. And he showed us a completely different side to that. That it's got this really, really dark side to it, but it was really, really interesting. Got to read them books, and they've got a new book coming out as well, Freaky Florida.
I know.
In October.
I mean, listening to that show, because I wasn't, I was listening to Kaz and Mark talking, and I was thinking, well, this isn't the Florida I know.
No.
I've never been, so I wouldn't know it at all.
No,
I've never been
when
either.
you say Florida, if someone said to you, I'm going to Florida, what would be the first thing that comes into your head?
Epcot Space Centre.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Universal Studios.
Exactly,
Disneyland,
yeah, it's a big movie
World.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, those kind of big theme park things. Mark showed us the dark side of Florida.
Awesome.
And it was awesome. When
It does have a really dark side.
I want to go now.
There's people, he was telling us one story about that home, wasn't he?
Uh-huh.
The children.
Yeah.
It's recorded there was 31 deaths, but when they went to the burial site, which is on the grounds, they actually found 55. So that's 24 kids, and nobody knows who they are.
Yeah.
But there is people looking into that, and there's people who have actually been in the home who are still alive today.
Yeah.
And we're able to tell things that have been going on in there.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It was absolutely
horrible.
But
I can imagine.
fascinating.
Yeah.
And that's the side of Florida that you just don't see or hear about, really, unless you get talking to someone like Mark Munsey. And that's what I find fascinating about this field, is that, you strip off the pop culture, I'd like to call it, the tourist image, and you get down and dirty, and you get to know the folklore of the area. I mean, he was talking about the cryptozoology thing as well, wasn't he?
Yeah,
what
he's
was
off.
that called? Can't remember off the top of my head.
Neither can I, but he's going next week, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, next week he's off on a Bigfoot hunt.
Awesome.
So he's promised to come back on and tell us about that. I'd love to do that, actually.
What, go on a Bigfoot hunt?
Yeah.
Our Jay Lynch, who I do the Paramania show with and the Parasearch UK Encore show with, he's actually part of a group. He also goes to, he's got part of like a little group that he goes out with, and they go, he's an amazing tracker. And we actually, when we did a show, on Bigfoot and stuff like that. And I was basically saying, why has nobody found like hair samples or stool samples and stuff like that? And then we started looking at concepts surrounding Bigfoot, and that again, that ended up absolutely fascinating. It turned into time slips or all sorts of weird and wonderful. I think we had Mark Manley on that show, to be fair, and it all went a bit weird, quite frankly.
Yeah. There would have been aliens in there.
So
somewhere.
I could say I think there was definitely an alien.
They could just be Wookiees, couldn't they?
Wookiees?
Maybe.
Hey,
Wookiees.
Bear, how are you doing?
Hi there.
You know what a Wookiee is, don't you?
I know what a Wookiee
Star
is. I'm
Wars.
not
Exactly.
that bad. I'm not that much of a Philistine. I haven't gone through this amount of years without knowing what a Wookiee is.
Well, they're not Bigfoot, they're Wookiees. We just ain't found them yet.
Well, yeah. Bear Medicine Walker is in the chat room as well. She's an amazing one. Won the tarot reading.
Yeah.
I haven't forgotten. It's just been a bit of a strange day over here, so I will be in touch with you, Bear, to organise that with you. So don't you worry. Yes, she won the tarot reading with me.
Fantastic. Well done.
Yeah, I know. I was really pleased. And so that was awesome. Now, on Friday evening, we talked... Well, I'll tell you what is coming up on Monday. On Thursday evening, we discussed what makes the perfect paranormal investigator on the Paramania show. That was funny as hell.
Yeah, I was listening in.
It was a bit suggestive, shall we say.
Yeah, it was a bit suggestive in bits. Yeah.
About you need to know what you
So,
should do
so
with
what
your
was the
equipment.
conclusion? Sort of like someone between RoboCop and a Grey or something.
No, we ended up actually saying a team is better than a lone investigator. Is where
Okay,
the
yeah.
conclusion was, because everybody brings strengths to the table. You can't
Yeah.
have all those strengths in one person, so you actually have to incorporate that within a team. And trust was absolutely
Yeah.
Indeed.
integral to that.
Yeah.
So, but that goes out on Monday evening, everybody. So don't forget, tune into that one because yeah, that was quite a
Well,
funny show.
Bear's in the chat room and she says, a lot of laughter, I think, makes a good paranormal investigator. You've got to have a sense of humour. You do.
Oh, I totally agree with that. And someone actually once in the chat room while we were live was saying it's not a paranormal team, it's a paranormal family, because you
Yeah.
need that that bond between you all
Yeah.
to make
It
it
can al-
the best.
If you're having a laugh as well on an investigation, sometimes that's a useful tool because it can build up the energy.
Energy, yeah.
Or it could even intrigue a spirit that's floating by and go,
Yeah.
what the hell are they laughing at?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
so
Let's go and scare the pants off them,
Absolutely right. No,
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Because I would. I mean, when it's my turn and I'm floating around the universe somewhere and see a group of people like doing ghost hunting and they want a thrill, well, yeah, I'll be up for that. They won't be laughing for long.
Actually,
Well,
with the amount of investigators that we've got currently in the field out there, when
Yeah.
we all pass over, there's going to be like, what? If it continues, it's like everybody's going to come back and just go, no, I can't pass over into the heaven realm or the upper
Yeah.
dimensions or wherever it is, or
We're having too much fun over here.
we're having too much fun. And just because now I've lost my physical body,
Yeah.
I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go and help all the other paranormal teams out by actually haunting them. And could you imagine some of the activities some of them are going to get in the future when
It's
people
gonna
have
be-
passed?
It's going to be vicious, isn't it?
do you know what, though? It might work out a different way. When all the paranormal investigators pass over, you don't know, maybe we could get over there and find out there's a thing called human hunting. And that's what we do at the weekend. We all go human hunting and then all go ghost hunting.
Yeah,
That's
let's go to the weirdest place we can find and see if there's any humans out there.
That's where the Black Monk of Pontefract went. Yeah.
He goes, well, I come here every weekend, there's people here, it's getting too easy. So I'm going to go somewhere
Yeah.
else, it's make it a little bit harder, like give myself a bit of a challenge.
It's a bit like the film The Others. Have you ever seen that one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
that's
awesome.
a
Nicole
movie.
Kidman.
That was a good twist on it. That was
I
really
love that.
Yeah, I did love that film. It's a good twist, as
Yeah.
I said, and you didn't expect it.
No, love that film.
It's good.
Actually, having said that, I've had a very strange discussion with my... Oh, no, I can't talk about that on here. Anyway. I suddenly realised what I was about to say and thought, no, that's not
Bear
appropriate.
has just said, laugh my ass off. Wouldn't that be cool? Let's do a human box and see if we can get disembodied voices. A human box. Get to the other side and find out it's all the same equipment, but for human.
Yeah, could you imagine that? You get over there.
I wouldn't be impressed at all. I wouldn't be impressed.
It would be so funny though.
It would, indeed. I actually know someone who got that they got some mirrored tiles and made a box out of them, but all the mirrors were inside. So obviously you couldn't see the mirrors, and the idea is that the mirrors facing each other created a portal to the other world, and they put a microphone in the middle of it and used it as a like a makeshift EVP session. Really, it was like you'd ask the question, and you got some really strange noises back. It was really quite strange. That I'd love to make one of them.
And it's not difficult, is it?
No, I'm gonna do it one day.
There you go.
I actually
Task
say-
for the weekend.
Devil's box.
I've
I
only
actually
just
said devil's box.
Yeah, it's
I've
got
only
the devil's.
just managed to get
Yeah.
myself a crystal ball.
Oh, I've
we
been
used
using
that.
one of those for ages. Come on, you're well behind the
got one of them.
times.
No, I first used one at Kelvin Hatch last year, and that was quite interesting. So I thought, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna get one. So I bought myself a crystal ball, only a little one. So when we go out on investigations, we're going to take that as well now.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, you got to take a crystal ball.
Yeah,
Well, you know
You
me,
should
I
see-
have all sorts of weird and wonderful things in my kit.
Yeah.
yeah, you do. Your bag's like Mary Poppins.
It is. It is like a Mary Poppins bag. It was all spiritual stuff. I would just like to add. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't have a tech box. I have a crystal toolbox.
Or even that bag that in Harry Potter that girl carries around.
Oh, mate, that is an awesome bag.
Yeah.
I want one of those because it's
Yeah,
so
with
Throws
light.
it round.
Yeah, the one I carry has got like, oh, it's so heavy. It's got so many rocks in it. I carry a bunch of rocks around with me on investigations, and I've actually acquired a genuine, Kerry Poppins. Yeah,
Kerry
I've actually acquired a genuine cannonball
Awesome.
for a very specific investigation that hopefully will continue. And it's a genuine Civil War cannonball.
Fantastic.
Wow.
And it's the closest you're going to get to to have the right. So the Earth's core, it's going into a private research here. The Earth's core is, as you know, is a molten ball of iron and nickel. Believe it or not,
Yep.
and that is what drives the Earth's axis. Yeah, it makes it spin because that's what's inside the Earth. And the closest that you can get up this end of the on the upper crust, as it were, is actually a cannonball.
Okay.
Not
Awesome.
according to Olivia. According to Olivia.
Ah, Bear. I will so talk to you about rocks and crystals. When we do, I think the tarot reading could go on for longer than an hour. I think we'll be talking for hours. Hours and hours.
If you record it, or you can like edit it and cut it up into hour-long shows.
Do it into a show. Yeah, we could do that, Bear. But Bear, I've got to talk to you anyway because we want you on a couple of shows that we've got coming up. So honestly, poor old Bear I'm going to work her to the bone. Now I know her knowledge. She was on with Sean a couple of weeks ago. If you missed that show, seriously, you need to catch up with that show. But Bear is absolutely awesome. Her knowledge base is phenomenal, and her energy is absolutely incredible. You really do link in. You need to make me a protection bundle. Okay. Oh, never say no to a protection bundle is all I can say. Thank you. Mwah, is all I can say to that. We will talk. We're going to talk very soon. I'll be messaging you tomorrow. No, because I've got to sort out the tarot reading anyway. So, it sounds like...
Two birds, one stone. Yeah.
I'm going to sort it out. So, where was I going? I've lost my train of thought.
Cannonball?
Yes. So I've got this cannonball that's that I've been searching for this cannonball for ages, and then my amazing father, he doesn't believe in any of this stuff, but he's so supportive because he went and got me what he came home and went, there you go, there's a present. Literally just chucked this bag at me. This cannonball is freaking heavy. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh my God, Dad. He went, open it. And it's a genuine cannonball. Oh my God, it's awesome. So I've used it in...
When I used to live in Kent, we just lived a little further away in the Thames. And when we was digging over the garden one day when I was a kid, my dad found a cannonball in the garden. But it was a small ball. It wasn't like a normal sized cannonball. So we took it down to the local museum and they said that it was a timepiece cannonball. So basically, when they were firing the cannons off at 12 o'clock midday or whatever, that's what they'd put in the guns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I thought they put blanks in.
Well, that's what they claimed it was.
Okay.
But it was only a small ball as well. So it's, so it was quite interesting. And I know there's one floating about somewhere in my family's loft.
See, the one I've got is actually quite large. It's actually like a genuine...
proper cannon.
Proper cannonball that would have been used in, God knows, 12 ball, 500 million pound ball. It's bloody heavy, is all I can say, and it's really big for what I would have thought cannonballs were. But no, it's awesome. It's like my pride and joy. It's my pride and joy, this cannonball. I never ever thought in my whole life, if you'd said to me when I was like 18 or 19, what do you think your pride and joy is going to be? I don't think I ever would have said a cannonball. But it is. It's my pride and joy. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. So, we talked about animals in the paranormal on Friday night, didn't we, Kaz?
Yeah, we discovered that Kerry likes to hoover up spiders, mean woman.
Yeah, I heard that.
Poor little spiders.
Poor little spiders. I know that. But there was, again, a huge topic that we literally skimmed the surface of. Poor old Mark did so much more research than we actually got to cover, didn't he? And it seemed to split into two areas. It seemed to split into, again, you could look at the scientific ways, or like you look at the physiological impact or differences in animals. And then we looked at like the spiritual, where people had had visitations from, like their pet animal and stuff like that. And then we looked into the folklore of animals and legends and gods that people had looked, and we looked at all sorts of things on that show, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. It was a good show. It was a good show.
I was interested in that one. That was quite good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But you notice that cats keep popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
Cats, they're everywhere.
So, because you said about cats being aliens because of Mark, but I think I commented in the chat room that cats are not aliens, but there's octopus. Where the hell did they come from? Because they don't share any DNA with anything common in this planet.
Oh, there's a show.
Yeah. So where did the octopus come from?
What do you mean they didn't come from anywhere on this planet? They evolved like everything else, surely.
No, it doesn't share.
Any DNA?
Yeah, with most animals, they've got a common strand of DNA or something that every animal's got, so like it's in common with. But an octopus has no common DNA with any other creature on the planet.
Really?
Really.
I mean, they are quite strange, aren't they, octopuses?
Yeah.
I find them amazing, though, octopi. Octopi? Is that
they're really intelligent, aren't they?
They're so clever.
Yeah.
And they're really wiggly.
Yeah. There you go. That's the extent of Kerry's knowledge on octopus.
Yeah, that was like a really intelligent comment there, wasn't it? Yeah, and they're so wiggly. Oh my God, octopi are amazing, but they're really wiggly.
Oh, God. Let's move on from octopus.
And she's off again.
Yeah, she's gone.
See,
She's
you wonder why I do
lost the
this.
plot again.
Yeah, but you wonder why I do this kind of work, because it makes me lose the plot. It makes me laugh, and I have such a passion for it. But it
Do you know what?
brings...
I think we should all just be grateful that we're actually doing this show at this moment in time, which means we're saving an awful lot of spiders from death. from Kerry. She's looking about for spiders
I
now.
know. I'm now looking around my room going, has she seen a spider in my room that I've not noticed? Do I need to get the Hoover out there and suck up a spider? To be fair, tell you just a side funny story. Ryder came in my room the other morning, and like the sun at the moment we've got beautiful weather in the UK. Here where I live, we've got beautiful weather in. Where 2 foot away, it could be raining, but anyway, the sun's shining through, and it's spring cleaning time because it shows up all the spider webs and things that you've missed over the winter in the darker days. And this is huge, honestly. This spider thread, like where you get like the ceiling threads that hang from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Huge, right? And Ryder goes, what's that? And I'm like, looking up, going, I can't see nothing. What are you looking at? He went, it's huge. He jumps up on my bed, right? And oh my God, it's the longest spider thread web thing hanging from the ceiling I think I've ever had. And he went, oh God, Mum, you so need to get the duster thing out. Of course, like once I start noticing one, I start noticing it looked like Mrs. Havisham. Like from the Dickens thing. Honestly, when I started going around with this duster, I was thinking, oh my God, it's awful. All I need is a really grey wedding dress and a really dirty wedding cake on the table, and I'm like hitting that role completely.
Oh dear.
With my spider webbed house. Yeah, loads of spider webs in this house. I didn't realise until the sun come out. Oh dear. I don't look up, clearly. Well, particularly not in my bedroom anyway. Sorry.
She's lost the plot.
Oh my God, my brain has gone down a whole different road now,
We're still actually... My son has just walked into the kitchen. We're still actually on a radio show. He's walked in. He's heard Kerry laughing, even though I've got my earphones on.
Oh my God, I have a really loud laugh apparently.
And he's just turned around, what the F is she laughing at now?
Look, I'm always laughing. I'm a happy person. I laugh at lots of things.
You sure it was through the earphones that he could hear her, and not literally over the distance?
Yeah, well, maybe.
You cheeky monkeys. Cheeky is all I can say.
Be in trouble.
Yeah, I'll start putting my boss hat on and you lot will be worried.
Petrified.
You notice how they all laughed at that. You can tell they don't pay any attention to me whatsoever. But wasn't it fascinating? There's so many. This is again part of the paranormal I find fascinating. There are so many different angles, and you'll research one tiny part of a particular topic, and it will take you down a completely different pathway.
Yeah,
We've done that so many times.
I do like the subjects where it crosses over into different areas. Like, for example, I mean, you mentioned the Bigfoot earlier, and how it could be related to aliens and then interdimensional beings, and the list just goes on and on and on.
Oh God, yeah.
So yeah, the theory is wonderful.
But it does. It takes you down, and like when you do research, I don't know about you, but when I sit down and do research, like I started looking at. I read an article about birds and migration and a protein in the eye, and then that was like something I just read randomly that had popped up, that I'd come across while surfing the net, and then I was reading through the research for the animals in the paranormal, and then literally I thought, right, okay, let me look into the physiological properties, I suppose you would call it, of dogs and cats and that sort of thing, and see if there's like logical explanations, blah blah blah. And then it made me think, and then all of a sudden I started linking. Hang on, I read an article about a protein that is supposed to show birds so they can see. Kerry on helium, they're saying in the chat room. That would, trust me, you don't want to hear that, because generally I'm very drunk when I do helium. Well, not much different from Friday night. Yeah, how this protein, the scientists have now think it's this protein in the eye And that got me thinking, as we discussed on the show on Friday, is that if we have that protein in maybe the pineal gland in our brain or the hypothalamus gland.
Thalamus, yep.
That's the one.
Hypothalamus.
That's it. That's that gland. Yeah. If we have the same protein, could that be what is linking our minds into the electromagnetic fields, which could be increasing our, and I'm going to air quote, psychic or special abilities that people are experiencing? Those people with higher levels of that protein might be what's causing those things. I'm no scientist, don't get me wrong, but it gets me thinking. It pushes that, and those are the jumps. It could be a huge jump of assumption. I don't know. I'm no scientist, but
it's just another theory out there. Then
that's where it starts making me, and that's what drives me on. It's always that I will have that link. I'll go, oh my God, maybe that, maybe this, and they could be, as I say, they could be completely unrelated things. But when I started looking at it, I started thinking, that's interesting to me. And that's what keeps me in the field. That's what keeps me pushing me on. I mean, with rocks and minerals, when I started in the field, I just was like selling crystals and minerals and working intuitively and stuff like that. But then when I started investigating, it was like, I wanted to know why. Why does this work?
Yeah.
What is it that's at play here? Is it purely, like when they talk about healing, it's the placebo effect. Because they've done scientific studies with crystals and healing properties, and there's no conclusive evidence. However, time and time again, people have found it to have a positive effect on their healing process. But there's no scientific proof to back that up. So I don't do physical healing. I use it to raise psychic awareness. I use it for manifestation purposes. I use it for helping me with my emotional states and my energy levels and my processing of energy through my body, all those kind of things. Not physical healing as in I've got, I don't know, a liver problem, so I'm going to use it to help with that liver. Or I've got a cold and I'll do that. I mean, I do those sort of things on a daily basis, but I use herbs as well as crystals, and I'll use salts, and I'll use all sorts of other things as well. But it's why does it work? What is it that's at play? And that I find fascinating, and that's what's led me down into so many different areas. And I think all three of us can honestly say there are nights where we probably sat and researched some level of scientific background to try and gain an understanding of a really complex topic that we have no idea what the hell we're reading, to try and understand something that has occurred on an investigation.
Indeed. We have, constantly.
Yeah.
Even down to like basics, EMFs. I remember doing a show on the EMF.
Oh, do you know what? Do you know the one piece of equipment I absolutely detest? It's completely pointless. I hate K2s.
Yay!
I absolutely... They're the stupid little flashy lighty box. They have no use whatsoever. Just chuck them all away.
Yes, I totally agree. I hate them myself.
You pay like 50 quid for a stupid little flashy box that can be affected by so many things in that room.
And it doesn't even give you an accurate reading.
No, it doesn't.
That's what bugs me.
Totally pointless.
Yes.
Okay,
just bring it and
so
get
what's your favourite piece of kit, guys?
I like my EMF meter that's got the needle that tells me exactly how much EMF I'm getting.
A millimeter, is that by any chance?
I do have a millimeter, but no, I've got an EMF meter with the needle. A needle display.
Okay, Kaz?
My EVP recorder.
Yeah, you like your voice recorder, don't you?
Yeah,
I've got an anometer as well. It measures drafts through windows and things.
And when people say, "What's your favourite piece of tech, Kerry?" I go, "My crystals." And they go, "Oh, that's not really tech, though, is it?" No, to me that's tech. To me that's tech. Do you know what I mean? You
yourself,
as Tesla once said, view the universe in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, and that answers all your questions. Boom, mic drop, and walk away.
Best piece of equipment that you can have is yourself.
Yeah.
Well,
absolutely.
but we have known many times that our body is not infallible. Just look at the eye. It's the most unreliable tool you've got in your body.
Yeah, but then if you sit there and sit in a room and close your eyes, you've got other senses as well.
Exactly.
And you could use those and tap into those.
Very true. You could.
And what about your gut instinct? Where does that come from?
Your gut.
Yeah,
always-
but no, but honestly, where do we pick up that feeling that strongly that we will go with what we're feeling at that time? It
You know
doesn't just
what?
come from nowhere.
I'll tell you something. I agree with you, and the best thing you can do is have the strength, the personality strength to actually follow that gut instinct. I'll tell you a little story. I was buying a house with my first fiance, the first one, bless him, the first one, and the night before we completed. I made him drive and sit outside the house because I had a real gut reaction that we shouldn't be doing that. And I could not explain it because I wasn't working. I was really young. I wasn't working spiritually at this time, but the gut instinct of not by. And I made him sit, and I was sitting outside there, and he's going, "What are we doing here? We're completing tomorrow. We'll be in it tomorrow." And I was going, "I just need to sit here for a minute." He thought I was really weird. And in my head, I'm going, "I just don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." And I was thinking, hold on, but we're completing tomorrow. Why am I now thinking of pulling out? Anyway, I didn't follow that gut instinct. I went through with the completion of the house. We gutted it, did it up from scratch, literally from scratch. We literally took everything out, replaced everything. I had a great time shopping, is all I can say. I make an amazing interior designer when I have the pot of money. That's all I'm saying. When I've got a pot of money and I can go and buy what I want, I'm amazing. However, anyway, we moved in, and this house was a bandbox, absolutely beautiful. And within 6 months, I'd moved back out again because it hadn't worked in the relationship. And if I'd followed my gut instinct 2.5 years beforehand, took us 2 years to do it. And then if I'd followed my gut instinct, it would have saved me a hell of a lot of heartache, a hell of a lot of money. And who knows where my life would be. Is all I can say. But I remember sitting there. And also, the other thing about gut instinct, I'll tell you another story, and this ties into the same story, is I'd gone back home, and they were building new flats as you drive off the island just on the golf course. And I went, I'm going to buy one of them to my mate. And she was like, "Oh, for God's sake, you're going to get back with him, and it's all going to be fine, and you're going to live in your beautiful house." And I was like, "No, I'll tell you now, I'm going to end up buying one of them." He was laughing about it, really laughing. And within 3 weeks, it was a decided factor that we weren't going to get back together again for one reason or another. And it's amazing how things transpire, is all I can say. And I ended up being the first person. And I made the poor estate agent go round, and I looked at every single flat before I chose the one I wanted. Because I was first on the list, I could have choice of these flats. So I chose the biggest, obviously. Yeah, so many a true word spoken in jest too. Ashley has actually said in the chat room, the best piece of equipment he uses is actually a notepad and pen.
That's because he likes data. He likes to write his data.
Spreadsheet, doesn't he? He loves data in a spreadsheet. And but how important then is logging your investigation, time-stamping your investigation? We rely on tech to do that for us. But how important is it to actually do a physical piece of paper, time, activity, what happened, personal experience, whatever? How important is that?
So when I get someone come to me and say, like, I think I've got spirit in my house, it keeps moving things and stuff, the first thing I always do is get them to log down times, dates, just so that I could maybe pick out some sort of pattern to see if there is a pattern in it, who's around, and all that sort of stuff. Because sometimes, you might go there and they just want you to perform like Most Haunted in the living room. But then again, if something keeps happening at, say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're not going to want to do a night investigation for that. So you're picking out times. You could even find it does come in handy.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, incredibly! No, I totally agree with that.
And then just give it all over to Ashley because he can log it.
That's what I do.
He can record it. Yeah,
That's what I do.
I've actually ordered 2 of Ashley's journals, and when they're filled, they're getting sent to Ashley. Yeah,
You're going to fill them all out with your investigations, and then just send them to Ashley.
Yeah, have them back now.
Well, I've actually got Ashley
is he going to send you out a new one though? That's
you never know. Well, not this weekend, not tomorrow, but the week after. I've actually got Ashley on the show, because Ashley's working on a research project at the moment to build up a data kind of scenario in regards to investigations.
good.
So we're going to be. I won't talk about it too much now, but yeah, tune in next Sunday. Not this Sunday. I've got MJ on this Sunday. We're launching the official Parasearch involvement in the Sage Paracon this year.
Yay!
Whoop whoop! And we're talking about Salem.com. Salemcom even, not .com, just Salemcom. Why have I put a dot in that in my notes? I have no idea. Salem.com. No, it's not Salem.com, it's just Salemcon.
I'm so going to listen to that.
Yeah, that's tomorrow evening.
Yeah.
We've got MJ on with Claire and myself on the Spirit Dimension, kicking off at 9 p.m. Before then, we've actually got a live going out on our Parasearch Radio group page with our very own Kaz Rooney. We do. She's going live.
Oh,
yeah.
Right, okay.
Question and answers with Kaz Rooney on the Parasearch Radio group page. If you don't follow our group page, pop over there and check it out, because if we have a competition running, that goes onto the Parasearch Radio group page. Blogs get posted on there. All sorts of bits and bobs get posted on there. More so than the like page. So I suggest, if you're not part of it, go onto the group page. Kaz will be live tomorrow night at 7 p.m. She is going on and doing a live question and answer. Ask her anything you want, basically.
I will. I'll be there.
I'm sure.
Do you know what? Paul and Ashley are going to pick on me.
Oh, don't worry, I won't let them.
I see this going to happen.
I'm not
I
going to
will
pick
not
no.
let them.
Ashley might, but I won't. I'll be there.
Oh, no, leave Ashley alone. He's lovely. He wouldn't do that to you. He wouldn't do that to you.
I wrote a blog today.
I
the
know.
process.
You
I
did.
thought that was quite good. I enjoyed that.
Did you see? Well, I want to hear more from you then if you enjoyed doing blogging.
I did. I put a blog on about Septon Mallet prison, and I even included a link to my show on Septon Mallet.
Well, we did a
So
show.
you can
I was going to
pop it
say
up.
we did do a show on it, didn't we?
Yeah.
On that one. So
Hopefully the other presenters do blogs as well and send them over to me, and I'll put them on the website as well.
Well, I've nagged mercilessly.
I've done about 3.
I haven't got 3.
But I'm not happy with them yet.
Oh, bless her.
Oh, that's cool.
But go over to the parasearchradio.com website, brand spanking new. It's up and running. You can see all information about us presenters and our pretty faces for a change, because you only normally get to hear the voices. So you get to see the pretty faces. And then you can read blogs. You can find out the latest show through the live feed or the RSS feed that's on there. You can, check out our blogs. Yeah, we've got Ashley Nib blogs for, he blogs for himself, and then we share the link because we like that. And Sarah Chimasero from Australia as well. We do that with her as well. If she's got a blog up, a new blog, then we share her blog onto the blog page. So another source of valuable information. Both those guys are absolutely awesome in regards to what they do in the paranormal field, and their viewpoints are so different on various topics in the paranormal field. It's worth I always think keeping an open mind in the paranormal is so key, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh, that's it. Yes, definitely. Right.
It is, yeah. It is open-minded and respect. That's what it needs.
Totally. And different ideas coming through all the time. I think that's really a good thing too.
And what also I think is important, look for other explanations before you call it paranormal.
Oh, hell yeah.
Please.
Hell yeah.
Just please.
Yeah, do some research.
Bounce up and down on floorboards and things if you hear a bang. Make sure it's not come from somewhere else. That winds me up. That does wind me up.
That's a personal bugbear, is when someone like sees like a meme or a post and then shares it but hasn't actually looked into the facts behind that. So there was something like, Norway has banned all Christmas lights at Christmas. I remember that one. And because of this, it was a political issue, so I'm not going to discuss the political issue, but it was bullshit, quite frankly. Complete crap. It was complete
You love
crap.
swearing on the radio, don't you?
I am really rocking the swearing on the radio these days.
Yeah.
You've
been hanging around with Jay too much.
I have. Me and Jay, he's a bad influence is all I can say. But when you must research your facts. And one thing I found, working on a case recently, I'm trying to find a specific link to something that has... I read something and then wanted to look into it more. And the more I looked into it, the more I realised that somebody had taken this. I'm so sorry, Ashley. Ashley's making a fortune out of me at the moment. He keeps making me put £1 in the swear jar every time I swear on air.
Just give him a tenner. You have a tenner's worth now.
Mate, seriously.
Over and done with.
It's just as well he doesn't see me in a temper, because then I don't owe him about £1 million. Very rarely do I lose my temper. But when I started looking at this particular point in research that I was doing, the more I looked into it, the more I realised that many teams and many groups and many bloggers had just regenerated and expanded on the original theory, and there was no basis in fact. I couldn't find any basis in fact. Prepaid swearing, laugh out loud. Is what he's put. But I couldn't find any basis in fact on this particular point. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, I have to then discount everything before, because they can't give me a source.
Yeah.
Nobody can give me a source as to where they found that original piece of information from. And that's what I want. I want the original source. I want the architect's drawings, or I want a piece of historic information. I want that source point. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when I started looking, it just seemed to generated, and some people had expanded on it and written a really lovely marketing point on it, but it really didn't have anything that I could research back to. And it was, no source. And you've got to go back. If you're doing proper research for any team, I'll tell you who's awesome at this, Kerry and Besant on Jamaica Inn.
Yes.
Getting to the original source.
Indeed.
And when we was talking to them guys about Jamaica Inn, CJ Simmons and Karen, when you start talking to people, that is actually where you start finding the expertise, or the knowledge base, I think is more the term. And Karen is great. She's so funny, hysterical. She has me in fits. But her research abilities are also incredible. Kaz? Has everybody deserted me? I can't hear you, Kaz. You've gone quiet.
I'm here.
Oh, you're there. I was going to say...
I'm here.
Yeah, I was going to say I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. So do you find that when you do research?
I like doing research. See, the thing is, my problem with research is when we go to locations or whatever, I don't like to know all the history of the place. That's my problem with research. That's putting things in your head. I don't like that. It's in your head before you go.
Yeah.
So I don't like it in that sense. But if it's a topic, it's fine. If it's a location, I'm kind of like, nah, I don't want to know.
But that's the beauty of being able to do like radio shows, isn't it? Because you get that chance to do a different type of research to what you would do if you was investigating.
Exactly. But I mean, like, if it's a location I know I'm never going to get to, like in Florida, it's all
True.
good.
Yeah. Except one day you might find yourself on a plane going to Florida going, oh, I know too much. I've read all the books and I've done so much more research on this. So name a topic that you've actually gone away, apart from investigating, something that piqued your interest, that you suddenly thought, I need to know more about that.
Oh,
now there's a question for you.
We've got that countdown clock now.
Yeah, I know, and I can't.
Paul?
I think for me, it would probably. I do like history, and this is why I like talking to Norman, because he's got the archaeological background, and I really do enjoy that. And I quite like the ancient Egyptians. I was actually watching a documentary the other day on the Pyramid Code and how the pyramids tie into the stars, and they one of their theories was that some of the pyramids were built to create electricity.
Yeah, I've heard that.
You know, and stuff like that. And I do like anything Egyptian based. It's quite an interest of mine. And Romans.
Ah, Romans.
Yeah, Romans. What have the Romans ever done for us?
Mate, a hell of a lot, actually.
I know.
I do have a bit of a fascination with Native American Indians.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole culture and the creation stories. That totally fascinates me. But I have been watching the Pyramid Code. I've been watching that over the space of about a month.
So you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So it is really interesting, though.
It is.
Some good points in there.
Yeah, it's too much of a big subject to discuss on an hour show.
Oh, the Pyramid Code. Oh, my goodness.
You couldn't.
So do it one day.
Oh, God.
7 hour spectacular.
It's going to raise an event talking about that, and I'm going to be like, what the hell? Oh, yeah, we're talking about mythological gods this week, aren't we?
Only because you haven't seen the programme. Me and Kaz will do the Egyptian one.
Yeah, I'll let you. Yeah, you and Kaz can do that one. I'll be like sitting back and just listening to you and laugh and laugh.
I mean, it's a fascinating subject, and I mean, even the Romans were ahead of their time.
Yeah.
With the battle strategies and things like that, you know. So yeah, I'm quite interested in those as well. Yeah.
I agree. Well, are we running out? Are we running out of topics now? Are we going to close this down?
If you want, we can talk about the Pyramid Code if you like.
We can talk about what?
The Pyramid Code.
I can't. I literally can't talk about something I've never watched. I can tell you my theories, but you know they're not based in any facts. They're just personal ideas. You know, I used to have a dream that had a pyramid in it.
That's Kerry's homework for the week. She used to watch the Pyramid Codes.
I've got to. Yeah, gosh.
You
Honestly,
made me watch Stranger Things. To be fair.
That is true. I did make you watch Stranger Things, but I'm currently in fairy tale land at the moment with my TV watching.
I see the first Stranger Things. I lost interest after when it started the second series.
What?
There's much better things to watch on Netflix than that.
Mate, seriously, you are missing a trick.
I did like Stranger Things.
I loved Stranger Things, I have to say. Somebody introduced me to that, and I will be forever grateful, is all I can say.
Okay. The Walking Dead, that's another one.
Oh, did you see the finale? Sorry, we're going to have a Walking Dead moment now.
So amazing. So I can't wait for the next one.
Okay, so do you think he should have killed him or not?
I would have killed him on the first day, believe I tell you.
Well, to be fair, he's a really bad shot for a policeman. But hey ho, ignore that fact. Ignore the fact that he's a really bad shot. Do you think he should have just let him die?
Yeah, he should have.
On the finale? I think so.
Yeah. Because they draw it out too long sometimes.
Having said that, it wouldn't. Where do you go with The Walking Dead? If you killed Negan, what happens next? You know what I mean? They will live happily ever after with killing the zombies and stuff, or.
Well, no, it's the struggle then of building things up and then coming across another Negan type fellow.
Well, we have not seen enough yet because the book that was given to them of the knowledge book.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about that group yet, do we?
No, not yet.
Sorry, Kaz. Do you watch The Walking Dead?
This is the part where Paul and Kerry fall out with me because I have never seen one episode.
Oh my God, Kaz.
It's zombies and things. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Whatever.
Where's
this mute button?
Yeah, so I'm just going to cut Kaz out of the show now.
I am so sorry.
I love a zombie. I don't love a zombie, clearly, but I love zombie things. It makes me a little weird, I suppose.
The two best zombie films ever has to be Shaun of the Dead and A Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
I've seen that now. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse was awesome.
It was so funny.
To be fair, if it's got zombies in it, I don't care. I kind of, no matter how crap it is, I love it. But if it's, I can't do horror, as it were, but I can do zombies every day of the week. Get me as gotcha. Yeah, love a zombie.
I'm a Game of Thrones girl.
Yes, I don't mind Game of Thrones, but I got a bit bored.
Oh, the Game of Thrones that's another one I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
So can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
To be fair,
that one.
I've got a lot of series to catch up on though with Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah,
I do have a lot of series to catch up on.
The secrets that have come out already, and
I'm
it's
sure.
like, wow, last series, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Except at the moment, I'm in fairy tale land. I'm not anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's all coming to a head, and they're all like, all the armies are mounting against King's Landing, and it's gonna kick ass.
It's gonna kick off.
Yeah, that was for the American cousins.
Oh, okay. Kick ass. No, I'm rocking it out at the moment with Prince Charming and Snow White and all the fairy tale characters at the moment in Once Upon a Time. That's the series I'm watching at the moment, and I'm loving it. It's re-establishing all my pre-misconceptions about romance. It's untrue. Anyway, on that note, I think it's time we wrapped this up. We are nearly an hour and a half in, would you believe?
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, we've got about 7 minutes to go before we're an hour and a half. So last 7 minutes, guys. Last topic on the table.
Oh, I thought you was wrapping Christmas presents up or something.
Mate, I'm not. I am not wrapping Christmas. Christmas? What the hell are you talking about?
You said you was wrapping it up.
I haven't even got the last Christmas over and done with yet, let alone this Christmas coming. Sorry, Ashley, we put spoilers out there.
Oh, dear.
Have you not seen the Walking Dead finale yet?
No,
come on. If you haven't, then seriously, it was like Monday. It's now Saturday.
Oh, yeah, no.
If you're a true Walking Dead fan, you would not have missed the finale.
No. The Walking Dead was awesome, and I'm so happy that horrible kid's come out of it.
What, Carl?
Yeah.
Carl!
Can't stand that kid. So glad he's out of it now.
Oh my God, he has. Ashley Nib hasn't seen any Walking Deads.
Yay, Ashley! Thank you. Don't leave me hanging out here myself.
I'm going to have to educate. I'm so going to have to educate Professor Nib on The Walking Dead. However, knowing Ashley, he will be scientifically looking at it, going, "This could never happen, Kerry."
Yeah.
Don't care. Just watch it.
He should knock it until he's tried it.
Yeah, honestly, oh my God, really?
I was shocked when Glenn was killed, but yeah.
I know. It's all going to go Pete Tong. I mean, Daryl,
Yeah.
Jesus, and Maggie right at the end.
Right, yeah.
Mutiny. Anyway, we're really, really gone into just a general chit chat now. Nothing paranormal at all. Anyway, guys.
Technically it's paranormal. Walking Dead, zombies, and all that.
Well, we did a show on the zombie apocalypse, didn't we?
Yeah, see, so it ties in with that.
It does. This is true. We did do a show. We did a pop-up show. We did a pop-up show on how to survive a horror movie.
Yep.
That was awesome. You know, actually, what I remember from that show most. Actually, God, this is really bad. This is really, really bad. The one thing, you should never have sex on a horror movie because you're going to die. I remember that. Yes, we actually looked into this. There are plans in action if there is an alien invasion, a zombie apocalypse, or a medical kind of thing. There are plans in place with councils and governments worldwide in case something like this happens. We found that out, didn't we, Paul?
We did, yeah.
And we also found that Indiana, I believe it was Indiana University or Indianapolis University, something like that. See, can't recall. But they'd actually done a weird thing on the computer that predicted behaviour and spread and what would happen and stuff like that. And the best place to be in a zombie apocalypse, was actually in the Rocky Mountains. It's the best place to be if you're going to be in a zombie apocalypse.
Awesome.
Except we live in the UK, so we're a bit bummed out on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, we're screwed.
Why do you put... Right, actually, let's put the CDC in US, right? So US,
Yeah.
United States, get that bit. What's the CDC?
It's the medical people. Disease control.
C, Connecticut Disease Control? Californian Disease Control?
Crap disease control.
No, I think it's Centre for Disease Control.
Yes.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah. That's why in the first series of The Walking Dead, that's where they were going, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The CDC, yeah. See, he has watched it. He's lying. He has watched it. Well done, Kaz. 10 points, a gold star, and a merit badge, I think, goes to Kaz for the Centre for Disease Control.
I've watched a lot of movies.
You have watched a lot of movies. Is there a real true Centre for Disease Control?
Yes.
Did you know that there is still an occasional case of the bubonic plague in the UK every year?
I didn't know about the UK, but I knew it's still about somewhere.
Yeah, that's still around, everybody. Not to worry you at all. There's a show. We could do a show on the Black Death.
Yeah.
We could do a show on that. Anyway, guys, I think that's time to wrap it up because we're now on diseases and scaring the life out of people. We've got down to alien invasions and zombie apocalypses and how to survive horror movies.
But don't worry. I can say, don't worry though, because if there is ever anything like that, we'd still do search.
Yeah, of course, Parasearch will still be up and running. And actually, if we're not, then what we'll do is we'll put on a loop how to survive these occasions because we've done shows on them. We'll put them on a loop for you guys. So if you ever need to know how to survive one of those, you'll have it available, accessible, so you know what tools you will need and things that you need. How to survive a zombie apocalypse or a horror movie or an alien invasion. They were all very similar, actually, weren't they, Paul?
They were, to be fair.
Ashley says, broadcast from Kelvedon Hatch.
Yeah.
Except it's a Faraday cage, so you wouldn't be able to.
No, they've got the aerial.
Oh, have they got an aerial?
Yeah,
all right, then.
The BBC have got a room in there, haven't they?
Have they?
Yeah, the BBC have got a room so they can broadcast.
Oh.
So you still catch your EastEnders even if it's like a zombie apocalypse.
Yep.
Nice to know the BBC has all eventualities covered. And on that note, say good night, guys.
Good
Night, guys.
And we will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. on Parasearch Radio. Good night.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.